yo? This your boy from Motorola, your man 50 grand, Darian D. Silk Sims, aka Darian America. Once again, welcome to the Breakfast at Silky's podcast, brought to you by Awesome 90.9 WSLK, the American Silk Radio Network, where it's always all silk, all the time. Also sponsored in part by City Life Lounge, the home of that smooth karaoke mothership each and every Thursday night, 8 o'clock start time. Tell a friend, bring a friend. Early arrival is strongly suggested. What's up, family? Hey, I'm gonna kick this off anyway. I don't have a big crowd right now, and that's okay because sometimes you got to kind of warm up, you know. When you're a pitcher, you know, I got my Cubs jersey on, my favorite Cubs jersey. My favorite baseball players on the back, man. Ryan Sandberg, second baseman for the Cubs, legendary second baseman for the Cubs. Never won a championship, but one of the best second basemen of all time. And the Cubs finally did win a championship, so hurrah! That's right. See, I'm a fan of Chicago. You know, everybody be like, if either one or the other. Like, I used to only wear Cubs gear and Cubs jerseys, and then last year, I invested in my first White Sox jersey. It's funny because it's a Michael Jordan jersey. And if we're a pure baseball purist, you know that Jordan never actually played for the White Sox. He played for the Barons, the minor league team. And when they did that Crosstown Classic, or Crosstown rival before the American League and the National League, before they played each other, like now it's a regular thing, it doesn't matter. But back in the day, National League played National, American League played American, and anytime the two crossed, it was either the World Series or it was an exhibition. It was an exhibition game. Jordan actually he donned the White Sox uniform, and he played. But we all know Jordan really did not play for the White Sox. He played for the White Sox organization, which also were the Bulls, because they're the greatest organization. Bulls better than Sox. I said it out loud. Okay, enough of that stuff. Yeah, man, the Cubs having a good year. I haven't really been able to dig in and look, but, sometimes I listen to the games. Like, I try to listen a little bit when I'm driving to my next locations, whether I got a gig or something. And I pop the Cubs on just for a little bit. And this kid, Pete Crow Armstrong, I've never seen him play, but you can hear through the commentators that he's developing into like a celebrity superstar for the Cubs. Cubs haven't had one really since 2016 when they won that World Series. And, that team died off gracefully. Ain't none of them dead either. They just didn't play for the Cubs anymore. They ain't no good. Javi Baez still playing. I don't know if Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo are still around. I know Kyle Schwarber is still playing. He's with Philadelphia. So is that important? Does that matter? It does to me because I love the Cubs. But I love Chicago, man. I don't hate the Sox. Never did. I hate their fans. And I'm from the South Side, so I hate my own people, right? Only when it comes to baseball, because sometimes White Sox fans can be a little bit, and Cubs fans can too, but the White Sox are seen committing crimes against baseball humanity. Yeah, I'm talking about when they ran out the stands and jumped on that poor old coach for the Kansas City Royals. Jumped out the stands and beat the brakes off that old man. Why y'all fighting the old coach? I mean, he ain't like he's no punk or nothing, but he's in his 70s. And he should not be getting jumped on by a 40-year-old and a 20-year-old when he's standing there coaching his team. You jackasses, that's White Sox fans for you. All my people like, man, cut it out, D. Don't be coming at us like that. Don't come for me, D-Silk. Don't come for me. Well, he can't because I'm Darian America right now. And D-Silk he's resting. He'll be back tomorrow when it's time to go to City Life. Man, BMF is back, y'all. Hey, have you been watching BMF? I dig BMF. And honestly, BMF is Power, is Ghost, is Tommy's show, Force. They the same show, just different. Well, BMF is a different era. And it's the unofficial biography of Big Meech. Drug kingpin, music mogul, did about 15 plus years in the pen, and he got released. Hey, I get it. So now they're taking us through how he got to become Big Meech and, all this stuff. And it's back, man. I like BMF. Honestly, why I like it, this is probably the first time I've ever said something like this out loud. I like the actors. Man, and what's really intriguing about this particular show, if you don't know, but of course y'all watching my feed, you know. The boy that's playing Big Meech, that's Big Meech's real son, Meechie Jr. Man, that's deep. That's like when Ice Cube's son played him in Straight Outta Compton. You know, I thought about that. I was like, if I wrote a movie or if I had produced a movie, would my son want to play me? Could he play me? I mean, you couldn't cast nobody to look better because he's me 2.0. He looked like me, but younger and more handsome. I would really be intrigued to see my son play me. Could you imagine, like, if somebody did a karaoke movie? I'm just talking, y'all. What if somebody did a karaoke movie and they had my son playing, you know, young me when I was first thinking about going into karaoke and me trying to be a music entertainer, a celebrity, you know, me producing music and going to studios and building my own studio at my house and recording with folks, you know. I would love to see my son recreate that. It'd be crazy. I'm looking at him be me to me, and I'm the one that really remember going through said memories, and he's reenacting them. That would be deep. Could you imagine if your daughter or your son or whomever, you know, from who's watching this, from the sound of my voice inside of your ears, could you imagine your daughter playing you? Could you imagine your son playing you? What you think about that? Just chime in. You can chime in here. You can send me an email, AmericanSilkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can send it to my inbox here. I'm just about to communicate. I'm starting a conversation, man. We just hanging out. You know, I had a real rotten couple of last few weeks, man, and I'm not going to allow, you know, bad happenings and nonsense and chaos. That don't stop me. Y'all know I'm a glass half full guy. I'm always a positive guy. Even when life got its boot on my throat, I find a way to wiggle out from under it and get back to my feet, man. And right now, I'm knocked down on my knee for a minute. And, you know, sometimes they say when you go down on your knee, that's a better place for you to pray from. So I take that. I hit to my knees and, well, we'll talk about that too. Y'all know I always got something to say. Man, that Temu jewelry, I want to throw that out there because I was thinking about BMF, and it's like, you know, these particular writers today, like maybe this story would have been real hot, and it's popping now because people are still watching BMF, they're still watching Power, they're still watching Ghost, even though Ghost is off the air. Yeah, Ghost is gone. Well, spoiler alert, if you ain't seen the end of Ghost, Tariq kills his daddy. So that's gone. And now Tariq, he actually got away because the next in the series was Ghost, and he escaped. And everything came all full circle and got wrapped with a nice little bow so Tariq can run off into the sunset, which makes me think he's going to end up going to Tommy's show because I think this is Tommy's last year for that show. And then you got BMF. And we don't know if that's going to go on because 50 Cent, Petty 50, you already know, 50 even took on the Big Meech story, even though he respected Big Meech, I'm sure. But Rick Ross was really the one out there campaigning and champion for Big Meech. Rick Ross out there, they think I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover, We know, Rick, you did that to get notoriety and drop their name so you can kind of get the Thug Passion conglomerate to kind of reach to you, you know what I mean? Yeah, so whatever. Hold on, I'm getting rid of, I went on Do Not Disturb, but goofy calls still sneak through. Any event, what made me talk about the Temu jewelry that I just threw out there, and it kind of gets you to what state I'm covering today, is, man, they look like they just made money hand over fist, and maybe the game was moving like that. But when I think about the game today, and you think of people trying to get heroin and cocaine and crack to move, and they got money in bulk, and they got big boxes and boxes of money and all these drugs and people killing folks and don't nobody get caught, it's like, yeah, the drug game ain't making that much money, y'all. And don't get me wrong, I am so not a drug dealer. I play one on TV. No, I don't. Never have been, never will be. I'm not good at that stuff. But I know they can't be making money like that because, like back in the day, the 90s, man, it was like 1 out of every 5 people you walk past in the streets of Chicago was a crackhead. And you see them. But now, and they're still out there, I'm sure, but they ain't as plentiful as it used to be. I mean, it used to be a crowd of people would be panhandling in front of the gas station when you walk in. Now it's like maybe 2, 3. So to go down from 7 to 3, that's a good change. Right on. Any event, Temu jewelry. So I bought that up because, when you're looking at BMF and all the movies and stuff, and they got all this bling on, all this ice and this jewelry look like it's probably like, I don't know, maybe $30,000, $50,000 worth of jewelry they got on. And I'm like, Well, y'all know me. I'm silly. I'm totally silly. I'll never, ever, ever, even if I hit the lottery tomorrow, I will never put on $50,000 worth of jewelry unless it's on a ring finger or something like that. And it better not cost no $50,000 for one stinking ring. However, good old Temu, boy, they had a whole spread. You could buy about $50,000 looking worth of jewelry for probably 45 cents. Yeah. So I invested in some of this ridiculous costume jewelry because I wanted to just see what I would look like. You know what? I've written scripts and I want to produce some of these screenplays. So some of my characters, they got to have this baller look, baller-esque. Yeah, they got to look like they doing some stuff, man. Yeah. I got a bunch of counterfeit money too, and I don't mind saying this out loud because it ain't like I'm trying to do nothing with it. But when you got to make things look good. Like I'm sure all the stacks and racks of money that they used in Power and Ghost and all those movies, Nino's and everything, it ain't no real money. So I got me a bunch of fake money and fake jewelry because I was gonna walk around and look like I'm balling and all that. Look like I'm balling. There we go. See, y'all see I tie in? See how I drew that in, the correlation? I tied that in real nice. Because what state are we covering? The state we're covering today is the state of impression. Yeah, impressions. Like, you could be looking at me right now, my millions and millions of followers. If you know, you know. But in any event, as you look at me, you probably like, man, bro look good, he healthy. Yeah, he don't look a day past 35. Let me tell it. The impression is, I look like I'm having a good day. I look like I'm all right. I look like I'm phenomenal. But you may not know. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Not saying that I'm not in good spirits. To an extent. But I may not be what you think. I mean, as I look at you right now, you're like, man, bro look good, he healthy, he's scrapping, he all right. But I could be going through it. And the only way you'll know is if I say it myself. Yeah, I'm going through it a little bit. Just a little bit. See, I don't make excuses, man. And I really, truly believe that he don't give you nothing you can't handle. And in my last podcast, I talked about how I feel about religion and where it all comes from, where it stems from. He don't give you nothing you can't handle because honestly, it's inside of you. You know what you can handle. And you don't make no excuse for it. I know I don't. If I'm going through some garbage, if I'm going through the bad, if it's something that's bothering me or taking me down, I bear my cross. I deal with it. And that's my choice. I can sit back and be, oh, it's the man. The man is why I'm not flourishing, why I'm not great, why I'm not... Who's the man? Am I blaming the white? Am I going to blame white people? The white man. The white man is not just the white man. I mean, it's men trying to get ahead. And maybe it's a man in front of me trying to stiff arm me and hold me down. Yeah, well, the impression is I'm all right. But you never know what a person is going through unless you ask them. And then who's to say they're going to tell you the truth anyway? I remember back when I still go to the doctor, and I'm like this, man. When I go to the doctor, totally transparent. I ain't BSing them. I tell them whatever they want. I mean, other than my social security number, but why would you want mine? My social ain't worth crap. But I ain't lying to the doctor. They be like, have you tested your blood sugar today, Mr. Sims? I'm like, no. Like, why not? Because I'm tired of stabbing myself in the fingers. I am a type 2 diabetic. And when they first diagnosed me, I was 350 pounds. I was a fat ass. I know why I was type 2 diabetic. I mean, it could be still the same way now. I don't nearly eat what I used to back when I was my heaviest. A bunch of other nonsense, but still, my cross to bear. So the doctor asked me, you take your blood sugar today? If I didn't do it, I'm gonna say no, because I'm tired of stabbing myself in the hands. You know, I done stabbed each one of my fingers. I didn't even went to a point where I might have had a nosebleed. Maybe I went too far, my nose nosebleed. Wait, that blood, let me get the thing. I don't do that, y'all. I'm BSing on that point. But seriously though, you never know what a person's going through. So how important are the impressions? Is it important that people feel like you okay? Because you don't want that attention. You know, you don't want people to be like, oh man, what's wrong with you? And I'm walking around right now with a limp. I got a badly sprained knee. I got crap going on with it, trying to get to doctors and all that. And I've been there, but of course, unfortunately, I crossed the bear. I gotta go when I can go, and I can go to who I can go to. You know, I don't have the luxury of being able to say, Garçon, here's the doctor, stats. I'm Garçon, I'm gonna drive myself. But be that as it may, I will get there. And I'm gonna get there by any means, because this ain't fun walking around with a limp when you don't feel like limping. But I got it though. But my impression is, they don't know how bad off I got it. And I'm okay with that. Because I don't want nobody want pity. I'm not doing this for no pity party, man. A pity? No, we don't do them games, bruh. And that could be one of the deadly sins. Maybe I'm too prideful to accept certain help. No, I can accept help. But if I'm gonna come and ask you for help, you know I need it. I don't cry wolf. Ain't no excuse, don't cry wolf. So the impression for me is, I'm okay. And as far as you know, I am okay. Financially, man, when you look at people like, man, I bet they got it together. You know, dude, like I was just talking about the bogus Temu jewelry. Bros walking around with these big medallions, and girls got on these the Tiffany bags, you know, the little pink bags and all that stuff. I know a bro that, man, he was in Vegas too. It's hilarious. He was in Vegas and got a hold of I want to say, he had a bag from, what's my man's, the real famous, I hate going blank like that, but let's just say it was the Gordon Garçon collection. And that's not what I'm talking about. Like, Versace, there we go. It was a Versace bag he had. Like, you know, you go, when everybody gives you bags when you buy your stuff. Well, this clown was walking around with like 2 big Versace bags with like boxes in them, Versace boxes, but it was like trash inside the boxes. But he was walking around with the boxes. People, oh, he shop at Versace, and all the little women that was on that. Ooh, he went to Versace. Hey, what you driving? Your impression is that he got some money, ain't it? Yeah. And it's a bridge in Brooklyn he owned too. Right in the middle of Brooklyn. $50 can all be yours. Just give him that $50 for that bridge. He give you the paperwork, you know, hey, you want it? The impression was he had a lot of money. Sometimes we need to not let the impression dictate our minds. Because if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you don't know. And don't assume. There's reasons why people tell you not to assume. Come on, man. Assume. ASSUME. Do I really need to do the saying? You know, I'm a glutton for a saying. When you assume stuff, you make an ass out of you and me. That's what they say, right? Assume. Yeah, I guess. Well, why don't you just ask? Just ask. And a lot of people, they may tell you the truth, but chances are they're not going to. People are animals. Animals do animal things. But at least you got to ask. Because if you're under the impression that a person is all right, you know, man, financially he don't look like he's struggling. You don't know how much his gas tank takes to fill it. You don't know how he got that money. But don't think just because every time you go somewhere, you see him there, and you're like, oh man, he must be straight. He got some money. He always out. Do we? You don't know. So either you ask, Man, Doc, what you do for a living, man? You always fly? You always got. Man, bro, well, I saved the hell out of my money. Or, my big brother, he then did all this stuff, and he was in the league for a year and a half, and he, everything, he don't want no more, he just get whatever the story is. You just don't know unless you ask. So what happens when you ask and you get the answer that you didn't want? Yeah. I'm looking at my notes because I really wanted to, you know what? Let's go on and jump the shark. You ask that question. Are you in a relationship with somebody? You seeing somebody? Is you single? Ooh. Am I single? Yeah, wasn't that dramatic, y'all? Yeah, I got sound effects, baby. I'm my own producer. I ran a board for about 6 years on the radio now. I can run a board. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm showing off. But in the event, man, you wonder, like, man, what the situation is. So, let's say said person looks at you, what's your, like, hey, you single? You can give of course, the true answer is always appropriate. If you're involved, I'm single, but I'm involved with somebody. That's probably the most appropriate answer. And again, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a physical therapist, but I play one on TV. I'm just saying, you throw it out there. You're like, yeah, baby, what's happening? Y'all like my Mac voice, yeah, baby, I ain't got no game, but I'm just saying, yeah, what's happening, sweetheart? You got a man, it's sound, I'm single, but I'm involved. Okay. Or what if she be like, what's up, baby? You got a man in it? I got a man. What the song say? What your man got to do with me? I'm not trying to hear that, see? Why not? Why aren't you trying to hear that? Because maybe she ain't married to him. And again, I've had this debate many a day, and I'm a sucker for this, a glutton, whatever the terminology is that makes you relate to how I think about it. Okay, yeah, that's your woman, but you ain't putting no ring on her. So it's wrong if I go, and I'm using me as the example. I'm not doing nothing to nobody, y'all. I don't want nobody problems. If I was ever shooting my shot at a married woman or whatever, and only women, yeah, if you know, you know. And I'm saying that shit out loud. But if I'm shooting my shot and she like, I got a man, ooh, get away, rascoo, shoo, scat. I don't want nobody problems. Because if you out here looking and he looking at you and maybe you like, this nigga at home getting on my nerves, I can't stand him, I don't want. Yeah, well, I ain't trying to save you from your problems. I don't want, and I'm talking just in jest. I'm not taking nobody from shit. So, you got a man, congratulations. Bro, you got you a honey? Good stuff, man. But if you got a honey, why you trying to get all the other honeys that's out there too that you shouldn't be trying to get? Why do married men cheat? I'm not covering that. I'm not even touching that. People are animals, and I've said this out loud too. Even though we're the most intelligent animal, quit trying to act like y'all don't have instincts. I mean, it's just like when somebody said, you could be walking behind somebody, and say they walking fast, and they don't know, and they drop a giant wad of money out there, bow, you behind them like, damn. Do I grab it and sorry, ma'am, you damn, but I ain't ate in about 6 hours, and I'm gonna eat until later on tonight if I can even do. Man, he might not miss it, because if it did, I wouldn't even do that. If somebody dropped a wad of money like that in front of me, I'd be the first. Hey, you, bro, you, sweetheart, you. I mean, if a dog had fall off his collar, like get your dog at heel. Give me this money, damn. Any event, it's about the impressions, y'all. How important are impressions to you? Is that man? Hey, he looked like he's single. Well, she looked like she's single. She got her ass cheeks out. She got her breast exposed. She looking like she ready to go. She fair game. It doesn't matter what they look like. It's how they react and how they live in their life. And if you live in a single life, if you out there and you crushing all the honeys, well, just don't populate the world while you're doing it, man. And keep your damn, oh my God, for Colored Girls, Janet Jackson character, when Ghost was playing her husband, my man, I forgot his name off the top, but she was like, yeah, take your HIV with you. I've watched Colored Girls one time, and I swear I probably never watch it again because that shit hit home. It was like a gut punch every 15 minutes. Boof, boof. Any event, I digress. Back to impressions. That's what the state we're covering today, and I done got worked up over Colored Girls. Look, man, I'm going to throw this out, and I guess I can start getting ready to close it down because I didn't want to babble for too long. But nobody knows anything until you make it known, make it prevalent. You know, I put my personal experience out there with my health because honestly, I was a little nervous about that, man. When doctor told me when I first found out I was a type 2 diabetic, that's before the pandemic, and the doctor had a mask on, so she was trying to keep from giving away her germs or whatever. Thank you, doc. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service. But she was like, when she showed me my blood sugar reading at that time, the meter usually only goes to 650. My reading said high. And it wasn't H-I-G-H, it was like H-I, because the G-H couldn't even fit on the damn screen. She was like, you could have slipped into a diabetic coma. If you didn't come in here when you did, you probably were going to... Damn. So, yeah, I kind of wanted people to know about that because, my mom, man, I miss her, rest her soul. She felt like Gerald Levert and his brother Sean, they both passed away, and Eddie's still here, but a lot of people didn't know why Gerald passed away. And I don't know if they ever really, let it be known exactly why, but my mom thought she heard somewhere, and she wasn't really into internet like that, that it was, he slipped into a diabetic coma. Luther Vandross, people still, I don't know if they've ever said exactly why Luther left us, but it was something kind of tied around to the diabetes thing. So when they told me I had it and I survived it, it was like, whoa, I would have never known what was wrong with me because that stuff kind of clicked on me and that's what happened when I found out about me having multiple sclerosis. It came out of left field but I was really going through a situation that they say what triggers MS. It's stress. And I was going through a really stressful situation at the time. When I went to the hospital initially, when I found out about me, well, that was the beginning stages. My arm had went numb. I had numbness, if you hit your elbow, you hit your funny bone against the bow, it'd be the tingling that's in your funny bone. That's what it felt like inside of my skull. But I'm like, shit, that's inside the skull. It ain't like it was just, if I'm scratching my head. No, it was up underneath my skin, where under the skull. So I had that. My face wasn't drooping. I didn't have the FACE, the symptoms. And I'm talking, if you know learn about your symptoms. I'm sure we all in passing have found out, but if something wrong with you might want to know quick. So I hightailed it from my job, and my silly self drove to the hospital. Now, while I'm going through this numbness in my head, I started seeing double. So I was driving in the street doing like this, and I could see two sets of everything, so I had to drive one eye open, get me to the hospital. So I'm, so this is all blind over here technically, but I'm still can see the full range of motion through this eye. Yeah. So I ended up finding out, and it was a pain in the ass to find out, but they ended up telling me, and it wasn't that night. It was not that night. No, I had to go through more testing, and so they actually gave me a spinal tap. I ain't never had no surgery ever. I take that back. The most I've had as far as the surgery goes. Y'all remember Funtown back in the day? It used to be on 95th. Well, my mom took me there when I was maybe 10 years old. She took me there for a nice little weekend. And I was on the teacups or whatever the ride was that spun around, and we spinning, and something went in my eye. I'm like, rubbing my eye. I mean, I rubbed my eye from the time we was at Funtown. We went and got food, rode a couple more rides, and my eye was just really bothering me. So mom took me to the doctor, and they took me to the ophthalmologist. Doctor found out I had a speck, like a little tiny black speck, but it was a speck nonetheless, lodged in my cornea. So they did the little, dilate the eye, and they actually blinded me in that eye. So they had, everything was white. I couldn't see nothing. They went in there with the tool and got that little thing off my eye, showed me on a napkin what it was. It was like a little speck that had lodged into my cornea. Well, to this day, when I go get an eye exam, I still have a scar on my right cornea from where that surgery happened. That was a surgery. But that's the gist of it. So when them jackasses went to shoving that needle into my spine, and they was like, it's funny to me now that I think about it. It was like, now make sure you don't do any sudden moves, Mr. Sims. We got to make sure. I'm like, you got a fucking needle in my spine. What sudden move you think I'm finna do? And they got me laying on this table and I'm clenching my knees up to my chest. And they like, well, Mr. Sims, we're trying to get the brainstem fluid to drip a little faster. Can you cough or anything? And I was like, I ain't doing nothing. Like, I could do a little bit of ventriloquism too. I was, no, I'm not going to move, I will not move anything. I ain't gonna even move my mouth. So I was in there, so they was just waiting on a little brainstem fluid to drop, and it was just drip, drip, drip. So at one point, I sneezed. It was, Choo! So I'm thinking, okay, spine in my knee, in my back, the needle in my spine. I done just sneezed, and when I sneezed, the doctor, they was like, ooh, yeah, Mr. Sims, do that again. Sneeze again. I'm like, I ain't sneezing. So eventually, the brainstem fluid drips through, and it comes out of my spine or whatever. And they showed me. She was like, little Val, here you go, Mr. Sims, we got all this for you. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of brain fluid. I might need that. I mean, I'm hoping that with my luck, I'm like, if I trip and bump into a wall or something, they ought to remove that much brainstem fluid from me. Is that gonna make my brain be swimming around and up against my damn cranium? See, that lets you know I think way too much. I thought all of that after they didn't show me that little stuff. So, in the event, yeah, I don't do surgeries. So if they tell me I gotta have surgery on my shoulder or my leg or something, well, if they was gonna cut it off, I guess that would be a surgery, and I'm not giving away my arm or my leg if I keep it to myself as best as I can. But the impression is that my shoulder don't hurt. I carry equipment. I walks around like ain't nothing wrong. A bullshit. A bullshit. There's some stuff wrong, but I don't let that define me. It will never define me. If you know, you know. And if you know me, you know me. You know my will to live. You know my heart, my character. Ain't nobody saying I'm perfect. Hey, only one person was perfect. I'm a distant relative. We all are. I think we all, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, are related to Jesus Christ. At least that's what the book say. That's what all them wonderful men that wrote that said book. They said Jesus Christ did all this stuff. And we believe him. Even though it was introduced to us to make us work hard in the fields, make us not escape from massa. No, you got to work hard in that field, and you're going to get everything that you ever desired in your afterlife. Hey, fuck you. I want everything I desire now. How about that? So check it out, y'all. In conclusion, don't assume, man. We don't know what a person is going through. My man Eclipse, I know he may chime in. He does watch my podcast from time to time. Karaoke legend. Me and Eclipse been doing karaoke since back in the day when it used to be at Rodney's on 71st in Michigan, man. We've done... Malcolm's even had karaoke for a little while. That's on 83rd down the street from City Life. You know, karaoke has been around. But Eclipse, last time I saw him, he had on this shirt. And the shirt was dope. And only he and I was paying attention to this shirt. Of course, he had it on. But the shirt said, all you know is what this shirt looks like, but not what I've been through. Something like that. But I get it. It was like, you don't know what I've been through, but you know what this shirt looks like. I get it. I was like, bro, that's deep. because I know, like, people have come to me and said, D-Silk, man, I know you got to be balling out of control. You've been doing karaoke for all this time, and you one of the best I ever seen, man. You can sing, you got personality, you do all this and the other. I'm like, well, thank you. I received them flowers, man. Thank you. You know, and anytime somebody says something nice to me about that, I'm humble with mine. And I'd be like, man, thank you, because you didn't have to say anything, but you chose to, and I receive it. But let me say this out loud. I ain't made that much money, y'all, and I ain't making that much money. Even the individual who lied on me and said that I had bought this whole building, this storefront is only half of a store. It was the full storefront, and the people who own the building, they cut it in half so they can get 2 different rents up out of it. Yeah, well, no, I don't own this place. I rent it. You know, but the impression was because I had the walls painted and I got 2 TVs mounted. Ooh, he must be balling. He must be making a lot of money doing karaoke. He can open up his own spot. Yeah, that's an impression. I don't make that much money. But I always feel like I'm rich. I'm like Dave Chappelle, I'm rich, bitch. Not financially, but I'm usually rich in my spirit, in my soul, in my pizzazz, my dali, my brunwell. I'm rich there. Financially, nah. But you can look, the impression is I ain't hungry right now, right? I'm pretty heavy looking. Yeah. Even though I must admit, it feels good to be able to look down and see my belly where it's supposed to be and not sitting on my thighs like it used to when I first started DJing and all us fat DJs sit behind a table and eat and DJ and eat and DJ. Yeah, I used to do it too. Well, I can see my thighs now. Y'all can see it too. See, look at you. My belly right here where it's supposed to be. Still got some work to do on it, but at least it ain't all down near my kneecaps. But the impression was I was doing so great as a karaoke DJ. I do karaoke because I love to do it. I love the way that the people respond to it. That's a bucket list item, man. Public speaking is not simple. So for people to come and do it for my sets, whether they're singing or whatever, I applaud every one of them. And I give them none but daps and kudos for doing it. But the impression is they're used to doing this. They do this all the time. Maybe, maybe not. But stop assuming, y'all. Don't assume about anybody doing anything. If you have a question, ask the question. And if they answer it truthfully, great. Because at the end of the day, you only know what they're revealing to you. But if they don't reveal it to you, does that make them an evil, vindictive, vicious person? No. I mean, it's very simple, but I'll throw a blanket statement out there. People lie because they don't want to get caught. They don't want you to find out what it is they're doing. And they're trying to, whatever their agenda is, they're trying to achieve their agenda. That don't mean it's right or wrong or whatever, but at least you understand why. That's all I got. Never assume anything. Because when you assume, honestly, you make an ass out of you. Because I don't give a fuck what you're thinking about. This your boy from out of Royal, man, 50 grand, Darian, D-Silk Sims, the notorious WSLK, baby. Check me out at City Life, y'all, tomorrow, 712 East 83rd Street. God bless you. I love you. I'm done. What's up out there, YouTubers? Hey, man, I hope y'all got a chance to see this one. I've been going through a lot of technical difficulty, but I don't mind because I'm building the content. And if you're looking for a place to broadcast your podcast from, if you're looking for a place to broadcast a TV show from, any type of things that you're looking to get to the masses, come to Awesome 90.9 WSLK and let us do it for you. If you're interested, email me. I'm Darian Sims, Darian America. Email me at americansilkradio@gmail.com. That's my time. God bless you. I love you. Subscribe, share, do all the wonderful things we need, and I will mess with y'all later. Mwah!